A nurse vanishes during a sightseeing trip in Philadelphia. Months later, her body is found 600 miles away in a remote forest, wearing hiking clothes she never owned, carrying a backpack no one recognized. How did Judy Smith end up in North Carolina, and who wanted her dead? This is the story of Judy Smith, a case that has baffled investigators for nearly 3 decades. What began as a simple trip to Philadelphia turned into one of America's most perplexing unsolved mysteries. Today, we're diving deep into the strange disappearance and tragic death of a woman who seemingly vanished into thin air. This is a story filled with bizarre sightings, unanswered questions, and a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Judith Lois Eldridge was born in December 1946 in Hyannis, Massachusetts. By all accounts, she was kind, hardworking, and devoted to helping others. As a home healthcare nurse, she worked tirelessly, even putting herself through college on her own. In 1986, while caring for a patient recovering from throat surgery, Judy met Jeffrey Smith, the patient's son and a respected lawyer. Jeffrey was immediately drawn to her compassion and warmth. After both had experienced failed marriages, they took their relationship slowly. 7 years of dating, 3 more years living together, and finally, in the fall of 1996, they married. Friends described them as a happy couple who loved basketball games and theater nights. There was no indication that anything was wrong. By April 1997, they were preparing for their first trip together, a business conference in Philadelphia. It would be a trip neither of them would ever forget. On April 9, 1997, Judy and Jeffrey headed to Boston's Logan International Airport for a 1:30 p.m. flight. But there was a problem. Judy had forgotten her driver's license. Under new FAA regulations, she couldn't board without proper identification. She insisted Jeffrey go ahead without her. She'd return home, grab her license, and catch a later flight. Jeffrey reluctantly agreed. That evening, Judy took the 7:30 p.m. flight and even bought flowers as an apology. Jeffrey wasn't upset, he was just glad she made it. The next morning, April 10th, they discussed their plans. Jeffrey would attend his conference, Judy would spend the day sightseeing, the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, all the tourist spots. They'd meet back at the hotel at 5:30 p.m. for a cocktail party at 6. But when Jeffrey returned to their room, Judy wasn't there. He assumed she'd gone straight to the party, but she wasn't there either. He checked the room again, then the party, back and forth, growing more concerned with each passing hour. Most of her belongings were still in the room, but her wallet, wedding rings, and signature red backpack were gone. She had about $200 in cash with her. Desperate, Jeffrey hired a cab driver to retrace the route of the tourist buses Judy had planned to take. Nothing, no sign of her anywhere. As the midnight hour approached, he tried to file a missing person report. Police told him to wait at least 24 hours. Frustrated, Jeffrey reached out to Philadelphia's Mayor Ed Rendell and Pennsylvania House Representative John Purcell. Both were attending the conference. They intervened, and the investigation finally began. At first, police suspected Jeffrey himself was involved, but they quickly confirmed Judy was on that 7:30 p.m. flight. A hotel employee remembered her asking about the tourist bus. A driver recalled picking her up and dropping her off near the hotel around 3 p.m. Then the sightings got strange. A woman matching Judy's description was seen at a Greyhound bus terminal. Another witness claimed she appeared disoriented, speaking incoherently. Even, quote, at one hotel, she allegedly said the emperor would wire her money. A local homeless man insisted she'd slept on a bench beside him one night. But here's the twist. Police discovered a homeless woman living in Philadelphia who looked remarkably like Judy. Even Judy's own son, Craig, mistook this woman for his mother when he first saw her from across the street. The most credible sighting came from a cashier at Deptford Mall in New Jersey, just 22 miles from Philadelphia. The cashier said she spoke with Judy, who was shopping for her daughter, and joked that her daughter never liked her clothing choices. Her daughter Amy later confirmed this was something her mother often said. But then things turned bizarre. According to the cashier, Judy became confused and tried to convince a young girl in the mall to leave with her, claiming the girl was her daughter. After that encounter, Judy Smith vanished completely. For months, there were no leads, no phone calls, no sightings, nothing. Then, on September 7, 1997, a father and son hunting deer in North Carolina's Pisgah National Forest made a grim discovery: human skeletal remains near the Stony Fork picnic area. Some bones had been scattered by animals, others were wrapped in a blue blanket, partially buried beneath a tree. Nearby, investigators found $167 in cash, a blue and black backpack, winter clothing, a wedding ring, and a pair of sunglasses. Cuts on the clothing and bones indicated the victim had been stabbed to death. Forensic analysis determined she was a white woman, 40 to 55 years old, with a severely arthritic knee. She'd been dead for several months. The murdered woman didn't remain unidentified for long. A doctor in Franklin, North Carolina, read about the discovery and was immediately reminded of Judy Smith case. He'd seen one of Jeffrey's missing person flyers months earlier. He contacted authorities. Dental records confirmed it. The body was Judy Smith. But nothing made sense. She was wearing hiking clothes her family didn't recognize. Her red backpack, the one she was last seen with, was nowhere to be found. Her sunglasses, discovered with her body, were unfamiliar to her family. And most puzzlingly of all, she was 600 miles from Philadelphia. How did Judy get to North Carolina? Who killed her, and why? Jeffrey was never officially cleared by the Philadelphia Police Department, but investigators concluded he was unlikely to be responsible. He was suffering from health problems that would have made the logistics nearly impossible, especially without leaving evidence or witnesses behind. More intriguing were the sightings reported in Asheville, North Carolina, just miles from where Judy's body was found. A cashier named Joanne Stucker said Judy seemed alert and pleasant when she spoke with her. She mentioned her husband was an attorney at a convention in Pennsylvania and that she'd decided to come down to North Carolina. Another witness, a deli owner, reported that Judy drove up to her store in a gray sedan and purchased $30 worth of sandwiches and a toy truck. If these sightings are real, and investigators consider them credible, where did the car come from? Who was the toy truck for? These questions have never been answered. Some theorists believe Gary Michael Hilton, known as the National Forest serial killer, may be responsible. One of his victims was found near the same area less than a year before Judy's body was discovered, but he's never been definitively linked to her case. Others suggest Judy experienced a mental health crisis, possibly explaining the disoriented behavior some witnesses described in Philadelphia. Jeffrey Smith passed away in 2005, never learning who killed his wife or how she ended up 600 miles from Philadelphia. Judy's case has been featured on Unsolved Mysteries and countless true crime podcasts. Despite decades of investigation, her murder remains unsolved. The questions linger. Was Judy running from something or someone? Did she meet a stranger with deadly intentions? Or was there someone in North Carolina she knew and went to meet? We may never know. But Judy Smith's story reminds us that even the most ordinary trips can take the darkest turns, and that some mysteries may never be solved. If you found this case as haunting as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Dark File for more unsolved mysteries. What do you think happened to Judy Smith? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.